Welcome into another Coach's Corner here on OKPreps. I'm Michael Knight, sitting down here with Stroud head coach Chris Elerick. Coach, thank you for sitting down with me today. Great season for Stroud last year as you guys went 11-2, making it into the playoffs. Unfortunately, Christian Heritage was on a remarkable run. They get you in the quarterfinals. Let's talk about last season, though. One of the best offenses in Oklahoma, regardless of class. You guys put up a lot of points, a lot of yards. Just talk about how last season went and if you guys kind of expected that for 2018.
Last season was a good year. We felt like we had a good group of upperclassmen last year. We had a really good group of seniors that are gone now, and always appreciate those guys. And we did anticipate that kind of a season. We'd struggled a little bit a few years before, and we looked forward to getting the ship righted, so to speak. And the kids performed. The kids played well, and we had a good year.
Your son, Grant, at quarterback, put up phenomenal numbers last year. Obviously, that coach-player dynamic is a little different than the father-son. How do you blend that as a coach and a dad, having to kind of find that balance between, okay, am I coach here or am I dad here? How do you find that mix?
Oh, I think, first of all, there's some experience because I'm also the son of a coach.
There you go.
My dad coached me all the way through. And having Grant and Drew, I have twins, and those guys make it easy. This group of kids, not just those two, but this group of kids, they've all grown up together. They've been around each other for forever. And when we're on the practice field, it's just player coach, and after practice, it's sometimes still player coach. And I don't know, it's a fun dynamic, and I'll give those two guys a lot of credit. They handle that really good.
Grant's season, I mentioned throwing for a lot of yards, a lot of touchdowns. How has he improved his game this offseason, and what can we expect from him this fall?
I think, and you hit the nail on the head earlier, he had a good year last year, but there's 10 other guys out there on offense. Our offensive line did a good job, and we have a good receiver core, and I think you're going to see a lot of that again this year. He works hard. We've got a lot of guys that work hard, and he's done his time in the weight room. He's about 20 pounds heavier. He's faster, his arm's stronger, and we got a group of receivers to throw it to that have also put in a lot of work. So I anticipate good things.
How do you improve on last year? Like I mentioned, you go 11-2. Christian Heritage just had one of those runs, Coach, where you see it every now and then. Mm-hmm. A team finishes fourth in the district, and then they beat district champ after district champ after district champ, and they fall short in the state title game, but a great run by them. How do you build off of last year heading into 2019?
Well, first of all, hats off to Coach Merrill and CHA. Those guys did a good job, and they got on a run, and tip of the cap to them. How do you build off of it? I think you have to remember what that raw emotion after that game felt like. There's a lot of disappointment, a lot of frustration, and you want that to carry over into your off season, and then hit the ground running on August 29th this year.
Let's talk about this season as far as the schedule. I know you guys played a tough schedule last year. I'm sure it's going to be more of the same this year. What can people expect from Stroud in 2019?
We set our goals high, but our culture is one where we pride ourselves on working hard. We pride ourselves on playing hard. And regardless of what the scheme is year in, year out, if we're throwing it around a bunch or if we're running a bunch, we want our personality and our culture to be at its root who we are. We have a saying at Stroud that we've had since 2007. It's old school tough. Stroud's a tradition-rich community with a tradition-rich football program, and a lot of those old guys are still around, and we try to pattern ourselves after the road that was laid out before us by some really good football teams back in the day, and we try to pattern ourselves year after year after year in that same line of thought or that same mentality.
Coach, one thing that I definitely want to get your input on is Class A as a whole. Year in and year out, Class A, you have your typical contenders, your top teams. Cashin comes to mind. There's several others. But at the same time, you can make the argument that Class A, out of all the classes in Oklahoma, is the most wide open. Sure. The state champions that come out of Class A year after year, you don't have a team that's rattling off 2-3 straight state championships. It's always somebody different.
Right.
How does that help your program, try to try to become one of those consistent powers in Class A when every year it's so wide open?
I think there is a lot of parity in Class A, and you saw that last year in the playoffs. I really think that there were maybe 8 teams that could have won it, and credit to Tonkawa. They're the ones who ran the gauntlet and got it done. But you look at it right now, I think Cassion's probably an odds-on favorite going in. They bring a ton of kids back. Lynn Shackelford, who's a good friend of mine, does a great job down there. But you've got Minko, you've got Ringling, you've got Thomas has a good group. Tonkawa coming off a state championship year. I mean, you can just go team after team after team that they're well coached, their kids play hard, and they've got a shot.
Yeah, I mean, we didn't even mention Christian Heritage, the team that went on that run. Rejoice Christian, they're going to have guys back as well. It's so wide open year after year. It's when we're doing this, when we're talking in August and we're putting together preseason stuff, Class A is always the most difficult one to forecast because I completely admit today, we're recording this on August 1st, full disclosure, I have no idea what to expect in Class A. You mentioned Cashin, they might be the odds-on favorite.
Right.
I don't know. There might be a team that we didn't even mention that goes on to win the state title.
You're absolutely right.
All right, Coach, I appreciate you coming out. Thank you so much.
Appreciate
Great season
you guys.
last year.
Thank you.
And good luck this fall.
Sounds good.
For Coach, I'm Michael. This has been another one-on-one session here with the OKPreps Coaches Corner.